Let me ask you something. How many times has someone ruined your day this week? Maybe it was a rude stranger cutting in line. Maybe it was that coworker who loves micromanaging your work. Or maybe it was that one friend who, without fail, knows exactly how to push your buttons like they have a PhD in making you lose your patience. Now, be honest. Did you let them win? Did they get under your skin? Most of us at some point have handed over control of our emotions to someone who did not deserve it. But what if I told you that you could stop this from happening? That you could become unshakable, a person so calm and collected that no one, and I mean no one, could mess with your peace? Sounds impossible, right? Almost like some kind of Zen, monk-level mastery over your emotions. But it is not. We are not here for vague positivity. We are diving into practical tools that actually work. These are brutally honest, sometimes controversial, but hilariously effective strategies to never get angry or bothered by anyone again. If you have ever found yourself replaying an argument in your head long after it happened, fuming over someone's rudeness instead of letting it go, or wasting hours feeling frustrated over things you cannot control, then this is for you. And fair warning, some of this advice will challenge everything you thought you knew about relationships. But if you stick around, you will walk away with a mental toolkit that will make you unbothered, unshaken, and immune to other people's nonsense. Let's get started. Have you ever walked into a room full of cigarette smoke? You did not light a cigarette yourself, but you are still inhaling all the secondhand smoke. That is exactly what being around toxic people feels like, except instead of damaging your lungs, they are damaging your peace of mind. Some people are energy vampires. They drain you, stress you out, and make you question your own sanity. And the worst part? Many of us allow it to happen. But that stops today. Now, I am not saying you should go on a full-blown block and delete spree, cutting everyone out of your life overnight. That might sound tempting, but there is a smarter way to protect your peace without unnecessary drama. I want you to practice emotional distancing. This means strategically limiting your exposure to toxic people while keeping your sanity intact. The 80-20 rule of relationships. Think of your time and energy like a budget. You would not spend 80% of your money on things that bring you stress, right? So why would you spend 80% of your time on people who drain you? Here is a simple rule to follow. Spend 80% of your time with people who uplift, inspire, and support you. Spend 20%, if necessary, with those you tolerate but do not necessarily enjoy. This way, you do not have to burn bridges, but you also do not let people set fire to your inner peace. But what if you cannot avoid a toxic person, like a coworker or a family member? That is where strategic indifference comes in. This is a way to emotionally detach without cutting ties completely. The micromanaging boss. Your boss is constantly breathing down your neck, nitpicking your work, and making you feel like you cannot do anything right. You cannot exactly cut them off, but you can emotionally detach. Instead of taking their criticism personally, treat it like background noise. Meet their requests, but do not overextend yourself. Keep it simple, professional, and nothing extra. When they micromanage, nod, smile, and say, "Got it." Then go back to working how you know best. Your goal is not to win against them. It is to stop letting them win over your emotions. The friend who only calls. When they need something, we all have that friend. They show up when they need a favor. But when you need support, they are nowhere to be found. Instead of cutting them off, start mirroring their energy. If they take hours to reply, take hours to reply. If they only reach out when they need help, do the same. Limit how often you say yes to their requests. Instead of feeling guilty, remind yourself, a real friendship is a two-way street. The family member who always criticizes your life choices. Maybe it is a parent who disapproves of your career, a sibling who makes passive-aggressive comments, or an aunt who thinks it is her job to critique your every move. Set firm but polite boundaries. If they start criticizing, respond with, I appreciate your opinion, but I am happy with my choices. Then, change the subject. Control your exposure. You do not have to cut them off, but you can limit how often you engage. Keep calls short. Make family visits brief and emotionally disconnect from their negativity. Toxic people thrive on access. Your time, your reactions, and your energy. When you limit that access, they naturally start looking elsewhere for someone to feed off. So, starting today, stop inhaling secondhand negativity. Spend your time wisely, distance yourself strategically, and watch how your peace of mind improves. Next, we are diving into another big mental trap: expectations. Because sometimes the real reason we get upset is not because of them. It is because we expected too much in the first place. Stay with me. Have you ever been let down by someone and thought, I cannot believe they did that? A friend forgot your birthday. A coworker did not pull their weight. Your partner did not magically read your mind and do what you hoped they would do. And just like that, your mood took a nosedive. But let's pause for a second. Was the real problem them, or was it the expectation you placed on them? The hard truth is that high expectations are emotional booby traps. When you expect too much from people, you are essentially handing them control over your emotions. The more you expect, the easier it is to be let down. Now, before you think I am saying, just give up on people altogether, that is not the point. The solution is not to expect nothing. It is to expect realistically. The power of expecting. Realistically, lowering your expectations does not mean you become cynical or assume the worst. It means you adjust your expectations to align with reality. So you stop being caught off guard. Here is what this looks like in practice. Instead of expecting people to be on time, assume they might be late. Bring a book, listen to a podcast, or enjoy the extra time instead of letting it ruin your mood. Instead of expecting people to follow through, be pleasantly surprised when they do. Not everyone operates at your level of responsibility, and that is okay. Instead of expecting coworkers to be reliable, focus on what you can control. Some people will always slack off. Instead of being frustrated, prepare for it and adjust accordingly. Instead of expecting people to return favors, give without strings attached. If a friend borrows money and does not pay you back, treat it as an expensive lesson, not a betrayal. When you adjust your expectations, you stop reacting emotionally to things that were always likely to happen. The friend who never pays you back. Let's say you have a friend who always borrows money but never returns it. Old mindset. They will definitely pay me back this time. If they do not, I will be furious. New mindset. If I lend them money, I assume I will not get it back. If they do repay, it is a pleasant surprise. See the difference? One leads to frustration, the other to peace. Here is the key. People will rarely change just because you expect them to. But you can change how much their actions affect you. When you start expecting realistically, something amazing happens. You stop being constantly disappointed. You appreciate people more when they exceed expectations. You focus on what you can control instead of what you wish would happen. This is one of the biggest mindset shifts that Stoicism teaches. We suffer more from our expectations than from reality itself. So starting today, reframe your expectations, not because people cannot be better, but because you deserve to stop being constantly let down. And if someone's behavior is still getting under your skin, well, maybe it is time to stop taking them so seriously. Up next, we are going to talk about a game-changing mindset shift. Treating annoying people like toddlers. Trust me, it works. Stay tuned. Let's talk about those people who drive you absolutely insane. You know the type. The coworker who always finds a way to make their problems your problem. The friend who stirs up drama for no reason. The family member who loves to argue over the dumbest things. Most people handle these situations in one of two ways. They either engage, argue, and get dragged into emotional quicksand, or they bottle up their frustration until they eventually explode. Neither of these options is great, but there is a better strategy. Start treating these people like toddlers. I am serious. Picture them as a chubby-cheeked, tantrum-throwing, juice-box-demanding toddler, because in reality their behavior is not that different. Why this works, think about toddlers for a second. They lack self-awareness. They scream in public without realizing how ridiculous they look. They are ruled by emotions. The smallest thing can send them into a meltdown. They crave attention. Even negative attention is better than being ignored. Now apply this to the annoying adults in your life. That coworker who throws a fit when things do not go their way. Toddler. That friend who stirs up drama just to get a reaction. Toddler. That family member who picks fights over nonsense. You guessed it, toddler. And just like with a real toddler, arguing with them is completely useless. You would not try to reason with a 2-year-old about why they cannot have ice cream for breakfast. So why waste time trying to reason with a grown adult who is emotionally stuck in toddler mode? Instead of arguing, neutralize their behavior with the same tactics you would use on an actual toddler. Neutral acknowledgement. When someone starts ranting or trying to bait you into an argument, do not engage. Instead, respond with something neutral like, "Wow, that is interesting. Oh, I see. Huh. That is one way to look at it." These responses are like handing a toddler a toy to distract them. They feel heard, but you are not emotionally investing in their nonsense. Play along without engaging. Let's say someone at work is bragging about how they deserve a promotion, even though they barely do their job. Instead of debating, just say, "Oh wow, that is an exciting thought." It sounds supportive, but it is actually neutral. They do not get the reaction they were hoping for, and the conversation dies. The diaper trick. Use humor. If someone is acting ridiculous, imagine them in a giant diaper mid-rant. Seriously. Picture them stomping their feet, arms crossed, pouting. Suddenly, it is impossible to take them seriously. Let me introduce you to Client Kevin. Client Kevin was a nightmare. He would send 10 passive-aggressive emails a day, schedule unnecessary meetings just to hear himself talk, and complain about things that were not even problems. At first, I got frustrated. I spent hours crafting the perfect responses, defending my work, and explaining things logically, only to get another email with more complaints. Then I realized Kevin was not actually looking for solutions. He was just throwing a tantrum. So I switched my approach. Instead of feeding into the drama, I became a gray rock, completely uninteresting and emotionally disengaged. When Kevin complained, I replied with, "Got it. Thanks for your feedback." When he demanded an urgent call, I responded, "I am available next week." When he tried to pick a fight, I said, "Noted." Guess what? Kevin got bored and moved on. The gray rock method? Become boring. Some people thrive on drama. If you react emotionally, they win. But if you respond like a gray rock, completely dull and neutral, they lose interest. Keep your answers short and unemotional. Do not give them fuel to escalate the conversation. Respond with neutral phrases like, "All right," "Noted," or "That is interesting." Over time, they will stop coming to you for their drama fix. Not every annoying person deserves your energy. When you start treating them like toddlers, something amazing happens. You stop taking their behavior personally. You stop wasting time on pointless arguments. You start feeling more in control of your emotions. And remember, some toddlers eventually grow up, but some do not. Either way, their tantrums are not your problem. Next up, we are talking about the ultimate response that shuts down negativity without lifting a finger. Just 2 simple letters. Okay, stay with. Have you ever been dragged into an argument you didn't even want to be a part of? You know how it goes. Someone criticizes you. Someone stirs up drama. Someone tries to get a reaction out of you. And before you know it, you're knee-deep in an emotional back and forth, defending yourself, explaining your point, and feeling completely drained. But what if I told you there's a 2-letter solution that can stop all of that in its tracks? It's okay, that's it. Just okay. No long explanations, no arguing, no emotional investment. Just a simple, neutral response that shuts down negativity before it even starts. Okay is not passive. It's strategic disengagement. Some people will hear this advice and think, but doesn't saying okay mean I'm letting them win? No, it means you're refusing to play their game. People who thrive on conflict want one thing, a reaction. They don't care about logic, fairness, or resolution. They just want the emotional payoff of knowing they got under your skin. By responding with okay, you deny them that payoff. It's like unplugging a power source. They can keep talking, but there's no energy feeding into the fight. Alternative neutral responses: if okay doesn't feel natural to you, here are a few alternatives that have the same effect. Noted. When someone critiques your choices but you don't feel like explaining yourself, you're entitled to your opinion. When someone is obviously trying to bait you into an argument, I see. When a gossip monger wants you to react, got it. When a micromanaging boss is being extra, these phrases work because they acknowledge the other person without adding fuel to the fire. Thanksgiving drama with Aunt Linda. Let me introduce you to Aunt Linda. Aunt Linda is the kind of family member who has opinions about everything. Your career, she doesn't think it's stable. Your relationship? Oh, I don't think they're the one for you. The way you carved the Thanksgiving turkey? That's not how we used to do it. One year, at Thanksgiving dinner, Aunt Linda was on a roll, critiquing everything from my job to my posture to the way I passed the mashed potatoes. Normally, I'd argue back, try to explain myself, or get annoyed, but this time I tried something new. After every single critique, I looked her in the eye and said, okay. That's it. No defense, no frustration, just okay. And you know what happened? She got confused. Then she moved on. By refusing to react, I completely deflated her need for conflict. She couldn't argue with me because I wasn't playing along. That's the magic of okay. It's a conversation killer. The psychology behind this arguments don't continue because of words. They continue because of energy. When someone is being negative, they want engagement. They want you to react, get emotional, and feed into the conflict. That's what keeps the argument alive. But when you hit them with a neutral response, they're left with nothing to fight against. It's like pushing against a wall that doesn't push back. It just gets boring. When someone criticizes you, you shouldn't be wasting your time on that. Response: okay. When someone tries to start drama, did you hear what they said about you? Response: I see. When someone keeps pushing an argument, you need to understand why I'm right. Response: you're entitled to your opinion. When someone tries to micromanage you, I think you should do it this way instead. Response: got it. Every time you use one of these responses, you take back control. You decide what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Protect your peace. At the end of the day, not every argument is worth having. Not every critique deserves response. Not every dramatic person deserves your energy. Saying okay isn't about giving up, it's about letting go. It's about choosing your peace over pointless arguments. And once you master this, you'll realize just how freeing it feels to stop explaining yourself to people who were never really listening in the first place. Up next, we're going even deeper. How to become unavailable to energy-draining people without guilt. Because sometimes the best way to avoid frustration is to simply stop being so accessible. Stay tuned. Let's be honest. How many times have you found yourself exhausted? Not because of your own problems, but because of other people's constant demands. A friend who needs to vent for hours, but never asks how you're doing. A coworker who dumps extra work on you because they know you won't say no. A family member who calls with the same drama every week, expecting you to listen again. If this sounds familiar, here's the problem. You're too available. And when you're too available, people stop seeing you as a person. They see you as a resource, someone they can call, text, or rely on whenever they need something. But here's the good news. You can fix this without guilt, without confrontation, and without burning bridges. Your availability is like a phone's battery. Charge it wisely. Imagine your energy as your phone's battery. If you keep all your apps open, respond to every notification instantly, and never let your phone rest, what happens? It drains fast. Your energy works the same way. Every unnecessary conversation is a background app draining your battery. Every time you say yes when you don't want to, your battery depletes. Every time you let someone interrupt your time, your power level drops. And the worst part? Some people act like they have a charger plugged into you 24/7. They drain and drain and drain without ever giving back. It's time to put yourself on airplane mode. Strategies to reclaim your time and energy delay. Responses intentionally. You don't have to reply instantly. If someone texts demanding your time, wait a few hours before responding. If it's truly important, they'll follow up. If not, it can wait. Set personal office hours, even for friends and family. Just like businesses have working hours, you should too. Example, if you don't want to take calls after 8 p.m., don't. If someone texts late, respond the next day. Your time is yours to control. Use reverse ghosting for energy-draining people. Instead of cutting them off suddenly, slowly fade out. Take longer to reply. Keep conversations short. They'll naturally start looking elsewhere for emotional dumping grounds. The former yes man who learned to say no. Meet Jake. Jake was the guy everyone called when they needed something. Moving help? Jake was there. Last-minute work favors? Jake would say yes. Late-night rants about breakups? Jake would listen for hours. And he was miserable. One day, Jake had a realization. Nobody respected his time because he didn't respect it himself. So he tried something new. When people asked for favors, he responded with, "I can't right now." When someone dumped drama on him, he started ending conversations first. When friends texted non-stop, he stopped replying immediately. At first, people got upset. Some guilt-tripped him. Some called him selfish. But guess what? The real friends stayed. The takers faded away. And for the first time, Jake felt free. The priority filter rule. If it doesn't align, it's a no from now on. Every request, invitation, or conversation should pass the priority filter. Does this align with my goals, happiness, or peace? If yes, say yes. If no, say no, or don't respond. Examples. A friend who always supports you asks for help. Yes. Someone who only calls when they need something? No. A coworker tries to dump extra work on you? No. But a family member constantly criticizes you but wants your attention? No. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not owe everyone unlimited access to your life. Protect your energy. Without guilt, being unavailable doesn't make you selfish. It makes you smart. When you stop being always accessible, you'll notice something. The right people will respect your time, the wrong people will disappear on their own, and you will finally feel lighter, more in control, and more at peace. Because at the end of the day, your time, energy, and peace of mind are priceless, so protect them fiercely, unapologetically, and without guilt. The unbothered mindset? Let's do a quick recap. Limit exposure to toxic people. Lower your expectations to avoid disappointment. Treat annoying people like toddlers, because that's what they are. Say okay and let go of unnecessary arguments. Be unavailable so you can prioritize what actually matters. Master these 5 strategies and you'll be untouchable. No more wasted energy, no more frustration, just a calm, unshakable version of yourself. So here's your challenge. Try these strategies for 1 week. Pay attention to how people react, how much lighter you feel, and how much power you regain over your life. And if you found this helpful, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because let's be real, we all know at least one person who needs to stop letting people ruin their peace. Like this video? Hit that thumbs up. Drop a comment below. What's your favorite strategy for staying unbothered? Share this with someone who could use a little more peace in their life. Think about all the moments in your life when you felt drained, frustrated, or angry. Not because of something you did, but because of someone else. Now, imagine a version of yourself that does not react, a version of you that stays calm, no matter what happens, a version of you that does not get sucked into pointless drama, does not feel the need to over-explain, and does not waste energy on things that do not matter. That version of you is possible, and it starts with making a simple choice. Protect your peace. Because here is the truth. Your mental well-being is not up for negotiation. It is not selfish. It is not mean. It is necessary. The 5 Unbothered Rules. 1. Limit exposure to toxic people. You do not have to cut them off dramatically, but you do need to stop giving them unlimited access to your life. 2. Lower your expectations. People will disappoint you, not because they are bad, but because they are human. Adjust your expectations and free yourself from frustration. 3. Treat annoying people like toddlers. Immature adults crave reactions. Do not give them what they want. Stay neutral, disengage, and watch how quickly they move on. 4. Say, okay, not every argument is worth having. Not every comment needs a response. Okay is your ultimate weapon for shutting down negativity. 5. Be unavailable. If you are always accessible, people will take you for granted. Set boundaries. Protect your time. Say no more often. Your challenge. Try this for 1 week. Take these strategies and put them into action. For the next 7 days, be intentional about distancing yourself from toxic people, adjusting your expectations, so you are less disappointed, treating dramatic people like the toddlers they are, saying okay instead of engaging in arguments, making yourself less available to people who drain your energy. Then, pay attention to how you feel. Notice how much lighter life becomes. Notice how much easier it is to stay calm. Notice how much more power you have over your emotions, and once you do, you will never go back to your old ways. It is time to take control. Life is full of people and situations that can steal your peace, if you let them. But you have a choice. You can continue reacting, wasting your energy, and letting other people dictate your mood. Or you can start protecting your peace, setting boundaries, and living life on your terms. The choice is yours. If you found this helpful, here is what to do next. Like this video if you are ready to stop letting people get under your skin. Drop a comment about which of these strategies you are going to try first. Share this video because we all know someone who needs to hear this. And remember, being unbothered is not about ignoring the world. It is about choosing what deserves your energy. Stay calm, stay in control, stay unshakable. Until next time.